Okay, this video is going to focus more on splits, specifically standing splits, or it's sometimes called a needle. So if you watched my previous stretching tips for beginners video, I started with a bunch of rolls. So let's do that. Hold it down here. Try to get that stretch. And remember, when you stretch, ribs first, flat back. Last one, hold it. Check yourself. See how far you can go. Now you're going to do a lunge. We did the lunge in the other stretching video too. And the lunge is to stretch the front of your hip. So pick a leg, and you're going to go forward and try to drop this hip down. You can even slide your leg out to the back if you want to. Now we're going to do a stretch I did not do in the stretching tips for beginners video. And this stretch is going to target the side of your thighs, which is still kind of part of your hamstring. You're just going to feel it more on the outer side. So you're going to lay on your back with your knees up. Pick the leg you want to stretch. So I'm going to be stretching my right leg. You're going to take your ankle, put it over your knee, like you're sitting with your ankle over your knee. Now, you're going to take your right hand, the hand of the leg that you're stretching, put it through the hole like you're threading a needle, and then take the other hand and grab the outside of your knee. So two hands are going to grab your knee, one going through the needle, one coming on the outside. Grab your knee and pull your whole knee towards your chest. You might need to readjust. Sometimes people have their ankle too far crossed, or it's like your calf is on your leg, or sometimes people are too far out, or it's just the toes on their leg. I want your ankle bone right out here, right over your knee, and not too far down. So one through the needle, one on the outside, grab your knee and hug your knee to your chest. Your butt can come up off the floor. You might want to use a mat, because for me, I feel my spine kind of bumping the floor. So you're going to use your hands and hug your knee to your chest, and you should feel it right along the outside here. And then switch, do the other side. So other ankle over your knee. Hand of the leg you're trying to stretch, thread the needle, other arm on the outside of your knee, and pull your knee to your chest. Ooh, I feel this leg much more than the other one. And remember, stretching is 90% psychological. You have to relax. You feel this stretch and you start clenching and gripping and resisting and trying to push your way out of the stretch, you're causing more pain for yourself. So breathe deep. Let the tight muscle just melt. Just let it turn into jello. You don't got no muscles. You're just melting right now. You can do a similar stretch by sitting almost Indian style or pretzel style, but not really. But instead, you're going to stack one foot on top of the other. The foot that is on top is the side that you're going to feel stretching. So stack one leg on top of the other, and you can bend forward. If you're more advanced, you can cross them more, like this. So the higher that this knee goes, the more you're going to feel the stretch here on the side. So I can cross all the way because I'm a freak of nature and stretch forward. And you'll feel it mostly on the top leg, a little bit in the bottom leg too. So stack a leg and lean forward. More things to help your stretching. So before, when we were rolling, that was using your own body weight and your own momentum to help give you a little extra push. It wasn't forceful. It's not adding too much weight that your body isn't used to walking around with every day. It's your own weight. You're just using momentum to help get you to go a little farther. So we're going to do the same thing, just laying down on the floor with our legs. In ballet, this is called grand battement. but if you're not a dancer, they're just called kicks. So you're actually just gonna kick your leg, but don't kick it just straight up to 90 degrees and then drop it. I want you to do it slowly, bring it a little farther than straight up and down, and notice where you feel a stretch. For most people, you're gonna start to feel it just as you pass 90 degrees, you'll feel some tightness. I want your kicks to come to at least here. The point is that the momentum might even bring you a little bit past that stretching point. And I want you to try to keep your back on the ground. So I don't want you lifting a hip to get your leg up, okay? I want you to keep your knees absolutely straight, press into the back of your legs, and do these kicks, and try to go just past the point where you feel resistance and stretching. The momentum is gonna help push you a little farther every time. So do 10 on each leg. Now you're gonna do the same thing on your side. Bend your leg first. Bring your knee up to your shoulder and then extend your leg, and I want you to feel where it's tight. I'm having you bend first because not a lot of people have the strength to just lift their straight leg up to that point. So whether you lift a straight leg or a bent leg first, I want you to feel where it gets tight. And then we're gonna do the same thing, we're gonna kick. And I want your kick to take you to at least that point of resistance and a little bit farther, okay? So do 10 with each leg. For this exercise, you might actually want to turn out. Try to keep this kneecap starting off by facing the ceiling rather than facing forward, because it's really hard to get your leg all the way up here without turning out. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you keep your knee facing forward the whole time and try to raise your leg, you're not gonna get that much momentum. And you're also not gonna get that much height. But if you turn it out, you should be able to have a little release right here, and it lets you keep going. Go on your back again. You're going to bend your leg, get your knees close to your chest as you can, and then straighten. Try to get a straight knee. If you have to, you can push one hand right on your knee, and then you can grab your calf or your ankle with the other hand. Try to press into your knee, don't let it bend, but still bring your leg close to you. Your femur bone is kind of figuring out where in relation to your pelvis to go. So some people might want to stretch as if they're crossing their leg over their chest. Some people try to stretch out here. I want you to kind of hit all of those places. So if you're stretching here, like almost crossed in front of your chest, you're stretching some outside muscles. If you're stretching straight so that your leg is right in front of your nose, you're stretching the hamstrings directly on the back of your leg. And if you open your leg, you're kind of stretching inside thigh muscles. I want you to do a little bit of both. So stretch at all 3 points. Stretch a little over crossed, stretch right above your nose, stretch out to the side. Same thing with the other leg. Bend, bring your knee first to your chest, like when we did that hamstring stretch, and then straighten. And try to keep your knee from bending. Don't let it bend. I know this feels way better, but we're here to be stretching hamstrings, not your hip. All right, so keep it straight and pull, gentle pull. Again, I want you to try to hit all 3 points. There's the one that's out here, which is stretching your inner thigh muscles. You can stretch right above your nose, which is stretching directly behind your hamstrings, directly the back of your leg, and then you can overcross, and that's stretching the outside. So when you do a standing split, it's not just flexibility here in your hamstring, it's not just flexibility here in the front of your hip, it's also strength in your butt cheek to actually raise this leg up. So we're gonna do some kicks with our butt. So for this one, you're gonna lay on your belly and you're gonna try to keep your knees straight for this. So don't bend your knee to push it up. I want you to squeeze your butt, pretend you're holding in some gas, and using your butt muscle. A lot of people have the habit of like lifting their foot up first or almost using this hamstring muscle first. I want you to think of pushing down to go up. So squeeze your butt, squeeze your butt to lift your leg, squeeze your butt down to go up. And you're gonna do, I don't know, let's do like 15 on each side. All right, so now you should feel those muscles nice and warm and activated so you can find them when you do your standing split. Now we're gonna do the same thing standing, and this is where some blocks would come in handy. If you're not flexible enough to touch your toes all the way, then you're gonna use some blocks, and the blocks will help. So you're essentially gonna do the same kicks standing. So pick a leg, and you're gonna kick it up, and try to keep your knees straight. You're gonna kick up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So again, these kicks are using your own body's momentum to not only get your leg up, but it's stretching your hamstring at the same time too. If you're lucky enough to have access to a ballet bar or even a table or a ledge, something that is sturdy and not going to fall down if you put some weight on it, then this is also a good thing to help you with your standing split. So you can start by putting your knee on the table and holding it there and then reaching down. So you should be like this now. Here, I want you to try to lift the leg a little bit, even if it's still bent, because I want you to feel this butt muscle that's actually responsible for lifting your leg up. A standing split or a needle is not just flexibility, it's also squeezing this muscle to get your butt and your leg up. You can use the blocks too if you need blocks to help. So stretch. And also squeeze the butt muscle to lift your leg up. Do a bunch of reps like this. So then one of the final tips I can give you to help you achieve a standing split or a needle is to do it with your butt against the wall. This is one of the most uncomfortable ones, so you have to make sure that you're really stretched and warmed up everywhere else, especially the hamstrings, especially the front of the hips, before you try this. Use your blocks if you need them. So you're gonna start the same way that you start stretching on your ledge or your table when you were raising your leg up and down. So find your knee, try to get your foot above your knee, whether you're turned in or turned out, doesn't really matter, and then slide your leg up. Now you're probably standing kind of far away from the wall right now. I want you to actually scooch in. Wiggle in there, get your heel closer to the wall, get your heel up to the edge of the wall, and try to actually touch your crotch to the mirror. And you can do some gentle little balances, rock and forth, like that. And then eventually, if you don't need the blocks, great, get rid of the blocks. And then get your nose to your knee. I think this is actually easier, to drop your upper back down like this rather than holding your back up. Okay, so that's really all I got for you. I'm not a yoga master, but if I had to achieve a needle or a standing split by myself, that's probably how I would go about doing it. But other than that, I hope all of these little like broken down stretches that target different parts of your legs help. So yeah, hit me up with more questions. Happy stretching.